Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. Hey, sis, how are you?
Hey sis, I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. Cannot complain.
Yeah, won't do us any good anyway, right?
Right. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We appreciate it when you tune in, when you like, you share, and when you comment. So, thank you so very much. We are going to get into our topic that we have for you today because I know you're going to join it. I see Dan and Deacon Holmes have joined us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, our topic for today is one that I think a lot of you will have some significance in it, and it's structured alternatives and positive engagement. Because think about it. What happens to a young man when they have no clear path or structure for themselves?
Mhm.
All hell can break loose because
Yes.
they have no structure. It's like, I just do what I want to do. I want to have fun. I have fun. I want to do my homework. I do my homework. If I don't, I don't. If I want to hang out past curfew, I do. I have no structure. Nothing's going to happen. So things can happen, but not the type things that they want
Hmm.
to happen. But when young men
Right.
have too much unstructured time, temptation will fill those gaps, whether it's peer pressure,
Hmm.
risky behavior, online negativity. You know what? Social media can go all the wrong way. But structure gives a sense of routine, purpose, and belonging. It's not just about control, it's about guidance.
Right.
Young people sometimes they may appear that they don't like it when parents and authority figures try to give them guidance, but really they do better with it, and I think they like it. But don't say that too
Mhm.
loud. What do you think, Carol?
Well, sis, you're absolutely right. And when I thought about this topic, I thought about how, like you said, if they don't have anything structured to do, they will find something. But what really sticks out to me is when they don't have anything structured to do, interacting with other people or other family members or friends, even sometimes friends, they can get stuck in a place of isolation, and the only structure they have is with those games and internet and stuff like that, and that can create a problem if that's not, under some type of control. And unfortunately, they get into where the only communication they have is the structured communication they have is online and all these different sites that they go to that can also be an issue and create non-productive activities, or just not even making them think and get outside of the real world.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about some things that are true. And that's what it's all about when we talk about, let's talk about it. Those trending topics that are going to help our young people. But we want to
Mhm.
get down to the meat of it. So I'm going to start out talking about positive engagement keeps potential. Positive engagement keeps potential alive.
Mm.
Because let's just think about that for a minute. How, if you think about it, how have you seen maybe some sports, a sports activity, or something in the community that's new, and the neighborhood guys are asked to take a part of it? That can change the mindset of someone. So if they have no structure and you don't try to do anything to get them engaged,
Mhm.
there's not going to be any change.
Right.
So if you're going to get what you always have gotten if you don't make any changes. But think about what I can think about, my youngest son, so we're just home, just doing things at home. But let me get him into sports. With sports, he was around more males, he was around more
Mhm.
authoritative figures. He had a sense of discipline, how you
Mhm.
interact with others, because he was the only
Mhm.
child. He didn't have any cousins to play with. So How do I interact with others?
No sounds.
That are strong
Hmm.
at football.
Mhm. Mm.
Teach different skills
Hmm.
at football, basketball. So you're beginning.
Mm. Mm-mm.
So
I can't hear you.
you
Can
can
you
hear
hear
what
me?
I'm saying?
Your sound was going in and out. I'm sorry.
I hope everybody out there can hear me.
It went off completely.
Mhm.
So,
So,
well,
Dan, if you're listening, if you can send me a comment or something online, let me know if
yeah, let him,
am
because
I
I
coming
can
through or we're coming through.
now. At first, what- did he say he could hear you at first?
He hadn't commented.
Oh,
Okay, anybody out there
yeah.
that's listening, if you could comment and let me know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I couldn't hear anything when you were talking. So can you hear me?
Can hear you fine.
You can hear me. Yeah, you went out. So,
I'm sorry.
well,
You can
okay.
go
Well, I'm
ahead.
sure what you said was the positive engagement keeps a potential alive. And so I want to just add to that. I'm just sorry. I know that was good information you were giving, Deborah. But even when we talk about structured alternatives and doing things that's going to help our young men, be more productive or be productive, I want to talk about there are specific roles that all of us could play as far as assisting them as in picking and choosing alternatives that they can do that's going to help them. So roles of parents, we can have a responsibility. I did hear before you went off about how you had to get your son involved in sports, and I too had a son that I was a single mom too, and I found that putting them in football was almost like that third disciplinarian person that I needed, because they did learn structure. They did learn how to have a community, and also even the coaches also were able to be mentors for them. And so that's the role of a parent. We want, as parents, we want to make sure that they can depend on us, and in order to make sure that we keep that right path for them, so one person can spark the change that they need, being consistent and build the right habits. And as parents, we can be encouraging participants. Showing up is so key in their lives. You'd be surprised how just being there is so important, that they can look up and see that mom and dad is there for them. And so showing up to the game, showing up when there's meetings, showing up in things that they're interested in. Sometimes, I don't know, we might need to show up and learn how to play some of those games in order to have some type of conversation with them. But parents are so key. And then mentors can help mold responsibility. They can teach discipline and offer a safe space for expression. Because sometimes young men think, because I don't want to tell my mom or my dad that, but sometimes a good mentor, a good trusted mentor, can be a person that can perhaps they begin to trust and share a little bit more about what their feelings are, what emotional things that they're going through. And of course, we both know how the church and any nonprofit, know Boys Club and Boy Scouts and all those kind of things help play such an important role and help shape and give them structure and give them opportunity to interact with other young men and be able to create a community where they can be safe and feel like they are able to get. It's like you said, it's a structured space that they feel relevant and exciting for young men to have today. So many things that we could look for as far as parents, how we can stay involved. As mentors, look for mentors that's going to be responsible mentors, that's going to share right, right sound information with them. And also, a community is so important that they get involved in their community. And sometimes we get so busy in our back door garages and things like that, and so sometimes we need to get to know our neighbors. And it's so good to sometimes to see kids outside playing in the yard. That's almost something you don't always see anymore, but that's another way of building community, and that everybody can have a role as far as structuring and giving them alternative that they can use, rather than having absolutely nothing to do. And what did it say? A devil's workshop is what is that? Was that saying you remember about? I can't remember now. But anyway, idle mind is the devil's workshop. I think that's what it says. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. You have to, because can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. I don't know what it was going on at first, but yes, now I can.
Yeah, because as single mom, sometimes you don't know what to do or whatever. But and even if you are, you have someone else. Sometimes dad can be present and not present. Having that mentor
Right,
is very
that's true.
helpful. And
Yes.
the next
Hmm.
one I want to talk about is replacing negative outlets with purpose.
Mm.
Replacing negative outlets with purpose. So, think about taking something that's not doing anything and then taking whatever that is and making it into a life changing
Hmm.
situation for a young man. Because there's just so many vices out there, so many things they can get into, like gangs,
Yeah.
gangs,
Game.
and then
Yes.
they
Hmm.
can do excessive gaming. Get that's all they want to do is get on that game and play. And now it's gotten
Yes.
so where even though they're playing, I guess when they started out with those games, they were playing to the
For
computer. Now
fun.
it's playing
Hmm.
other people, and there are all types of people that get
Hmm.
on there playing with them. They think they're playing with a 15-year-old. They're playing with a 50-year-old that has something
Mm.
else on their mind. So
Hmm.
it'll be really, really difficult. So you have to find those positive things that they can do, safe spaces they can go. Reading. I always talk about reading, 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 and I don't think a lot of people read enough. And it's just you can just go
Hmm.
all world when you read. You can figure out things on your own when you read. So maybe
Hmm.
every Saturday or every Wednesday, one day a week, we're gonna go to the library. You're gonna check out something. I'm
Hmm.
gonna check out something. And we're gonna read. We may get the same book because library you can do that. They have multiple copies of something,
Hmm.
and we're gonna read it. And we're gonna have our own book club. We're gonna talk about this book. It could be something like the 5 a.m. club or atomic. What is it?
Habit.
Atomic.
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 Atomic habit.
Yeah. Something about leadership or something about being positive, having a positive mindset. And you can have a conversation with your child, and you both can grow during that time. So that's taking idle time, finding something constructive to do, and end up like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you can't wait till the next week to start where you left off from the week before. But there are many different things that you can do that will assist you and help um, to grow. I mean, you can, I know a lot of times, I'm trying to think who sent me something. Somebody sent me something and it was interesting, but after I listened to it, this lady came on and she was a guest at this church, which I didn't know at the time, and I cannot remember her name, but she
Mm-hmm.
was so good. So a lot of times you chance up on things, and
Yeah.
instead of saying, well, what can they tell me? Listen for at least 5 minutes. Give them a chance. See what it's all about. Because sometimes you learn you happen up upon something and it happens to turn out to be something that you really like. Hey, I'm going to subscribe to
Right.
this. I really like this.
Mm-hmm.
So look for
Mm-hmm.
those things that are positive.
Mm.
You we try to sometimes we can try to get too involved with our kids. We want to be our
Mm.
friends. We want them to like us and want to be able to talk to us, but friends, or sometimes we say we get too far apart, but you need that medium. They need to be able to
You
talk to
do.
you
Mm-hmm.
when they're in trouble, when they're in doubt, when they're just lost. And you need to know enough about what's going on in their world that you can communicate effectively with them. Because if they're talking about something and you sitting there like, I don't have an idea what they're talking about, they're not going to want to talk to you. So you have to get out there. Not that you're trying to be their age, but you have to get down on their level, or up on their level, or whatever. But you gotta make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you
Mm-hmm.
can communicate with them.
Mm-hmm. That's good. We have to stay informed, right?
Yes.
Stay informed. But yeah, so many ways that we can create some positive engagement with them. And I love what you said about reading the same book, or letting them pick the book as well. So you can be reading some of the things that they might be interested in. Well, I want to talk about, we talked about positive engagement, the roles of a parent, and replacing those negative outlets. But I want to talk about a call to action. And so let's fill in the gap, because this is an opportunity that we give information, but we want to make sure what this Bible said, what we don't want to be just hearers of the word, but we want to be doers. And so a call to action, how can we fill in that gap? And so every community has a young man who needs direction. Every community has young men who need direction, looking for purpose and a sense of belief. And we can help do that. We don't have to start big. We don't have to have a big group. It's just start small. Look for that one person, that one young man that you can take and mentor and help them make the right decision. A sponsor, you could sponsor a sports team, a volunteer, you become a volunteer to mentor, or simply just help a young man discover his interest. Sometimes they don't know what they're interested in if they haven't been exposed to that. And I love what you said about reading, because I heard TD Jake say one time, you teach them how to read, they get to experience things in a book that they never will have an opportunity to go or whatever, so you can, I may not go to Alaska, but I can read a book on Alaska or whatever. So you can help them experience things through books and help them to develop their interests or discover their interests. And sometimes we do think, and sometimes they think structure simply means that they are being restricted. They have no freedom. But that's not really what it's about. It's freedom in being structured as well. It's there to help protect them, not to just restrict them from what they can't do. But you're opening up opportunities and doors for them to be able to see that there are other opportunities to do things. But if you don't have some structure in your life, some of these things you may not ever get to experience. And then a positive engagement today means fewer broken futures tomorrow. If we engage them positively today, then that means tomorrow we'll have fewer broken, their future will be less apt to be broken. And so many different things, like we said, that we can look at. Uh, um, Even I always think about sometimes we need to get the young people and create a Bible study or some sort, or a discipleship group or some kind of service project, getting together in their community, helping them see what is it that's going on in their community that if it's a problem, what can we do to solve it as a group and make that a group activity that they're working on. And then, yeah, I thought about this sometimes as I'm aging and my mom is getting older. There are places that have seniors who need companion, you know, and so that's another way that they could go out and you're helping the older people stay engaged, but also that can help them be able to engage with them and think about the wisdom that that older person can share, and then how the young person can also share what's going on. And so I think it's a win-win situation. So many ways that we can begin to look at ways that we can fill in the gap and provide a safe, consistent space where positive role modeling is going on, and ways that we can influence, or we can be an influencer, or people can be an influencer and they can be influenced to do the right thing. But also you influence them or mentor them so they can go out and perhaps mentor some other young man.
Very good. That's right. So, we want to make sure that we're not allowing our young men to just be out on their own. It's this thing about we don't want to be over disciplined parents. We don't want to be the
Mm-mm,
helicopter
mm-mm.
parents. We want to give them some space. That's great, but they
Yeah.
need structure. They
Mm-hmm.
need structure
Right.
along with those basic principles, because we want to guide them
Mm-hmm.
in the right way. And they can't do better if they don't know better.
That's
So
right.
it's
Mm-hmm.
up to parents, educators, youth pastors, neighbors to work together,
Mm-hmm.
provide some structure.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that,
Absolutely.
that could go a long way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought about this as we're getting ready to close, Deborah. How even when we are thinking about a structured alternative and positive engagement, I just thought about how important it is for us to honestly communicate with our young men. Sometimes we need to be transparent. We need to say, look, I made that mistake. You don't want to go down that road. And even when you have to speak the truth, you speak the truth in kindness. You tell them what you want to tell them, but we don't have to crucify them, but you can tell them lovingly, respectfully. That's important. These kids nowadays, they'll tell you in a minute, you don't respect me, I'm not going to respect. But it can be a place where respect is mutual. And then and don't talk. I think helping them understand that we all get frustrated in life,
That's
and
right.
so learn how to deal with your frustration. Don't keep it inside and let it create this big mountain, and then you don't know what to do until you explode. Help them understand how to walk through frustration, how to begin to express their feelings without being angry, and taking it out, and to stay calm, and clearly be able to articulate what it is that they're going through. And my last thing is, be okay admitting our mistakes and apologizing when necessary, because that's a way to build trust. And if they can see us and we model that, or we see them that being modeled, then that will help them build up their trust in us, and not, be weak, but see, trust, being able to admit that you make mistakes. We learn from the mistakes, but we don't want to live in the mistake. We want to move on, and don't let the mistakes define who you are and who you can become. And so just chop it up and say, yes, I made a mistake, and I'm going to move forward and learn from it. Yeah. So that's my comment.
And that's good, admitting that you made a mistake. Because so many times, parents, we don't want to do that. You're wrong, and you just, well, okay, yeah, so, and then you go on. No, okay, I apologize. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. That is so
and
key.
so just
My,
apologize.
my,
It's okay.
yeah, you did it. I had to be convicted of that, because I would say, well, not just not admit the mistake, but that mindset. That's just who I am, but that's not who God maybe want me to be. So I need to learn something new because I was terrible.
Right.
That's just who I am. And so what?
Yes, exactly.
So,
So thank you so much for sharing with me. We hope that you
mhm.
enjoyed this. This is something that was helpful, something that you can share with someone else, if not your son or grandson, with a neighbor, someone in your class at school, someone at your church. But please share the information. We would greatly appreciate it. And please, I want to mention we want you to reach out Saturday morning. It's the second Saturday, conversation with the guys. It's always hot, hot, hot. And this Saturday, they're going to be talking about the power of integrity.
Mhm.
Power of integrity. And that your integrity is so important. So please check them out. It's 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be 8:30 Central Time this Saturday. As well, this month, Build Your Best Life, we have a challenge going on.
Mm.
31 books in 31 days. 31 books in 31 days. So if you don't have a copy of our book, Build Your Best Life, you are missing out. It's all about basic principles and teaching young men how to overcome obstacles, build their best lives with true stories, examples of people that they know that have made changes in their lives. So it is worth having. So if you don't have your copy, you need to get a copy as well. Encouraging you to buy a book and gift a book. So that young man, that person down the street is, hey, the holidays are coming up. If you're like me, it's time to start shopping. It makes a great gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving. And you can get your copy. I don't know if you can read it on the screen, but you can get your copy by going to my website, www.buildyourbestlife.org, or you can email me at byblwdsmith@gmail.com. It's byblwdsmith@gmail.com. So we appreciate that.
Great book, but I don't want to show mine because it's really been through some stuff.
And that's how mine looks.
I was like, oh my God, let me just see if I can hide some of these tabs. Excellent book. So, yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we appreciate you tuning in today. And make sure you check them out Saturday morning. If not, so you can always catch it on the rewind on Facebook or YouTube. And then we will be back on Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. So remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you on here next second Thursday. But I'll talk to you sooner, sis.
All right. Love you. Take care.
Love you. Bye bye.